Hi Taurus. I know we did a reading for September on Patreon, but we're doing October on here because your Halloween videos are a separate thing, and those will be at the end of October, that last week, inshallah. So here is your October reading. Oh, that's supposed to be turned all the way down. It's contact. All right, so let's talk about Venus and Scorpio. Taurus rising, this is across from you. Taurus sun, across from your sun, opposing your natal sun. We have Venus and Scorpio that will, early in October, make a grand water trine with Saturn in Pisces and Mars in Cancer. That grand water trine is love. It's overflowing abundance of love. In fact, if I were to choose a card to define that grand water trine, this would be it. In every aspect of your life, you feel your particular block being stubbornness. You feel your stubbornness melting away. Whether it's being able to tell someone how you really feel, or, wow, that's really annoying. So sorry. Whether it's being able to tell someone how you really feel, or asking an existing partner for a deeper commitment. Perhaps it's a renewal of vows that you would like. Perhaps you've just started dating someone and you would like some affirmation. Whatever version of love's journey you're on, whatever stop on that train that you're on right now, this grand water trine comes in and just pours more love into that cup. And if you already feel like your cup is overflowing, then you just feel it more. Things feel better and better and better. Now, one thing that I would advise, that if you are looking for renewal, affirmation, a deepening of the relationship, I would say ask now and then wait. Wait until the last week of October for your wishes to be granted, because this element that you're asking this from, even if they're not up to the task at the moment, they will take the next few weeks to really assess how they feel. They will be impressed by your value. Your value will be impressed onto them and impressed upon them, and they will get to it. But they start off a little bit weak because you are exhibiting a lot of strength. So that brings me to my next point. October is about power, and sometimes what happens with you is that people lose power struggles with you and you don't even know you're playing. So it makes it that much worse when people lose, because they realize as they're losing that you have no idea what's going on, and that it's your natural gravity as a person, it's your character, it's that stone cold integrity that you have that you won't vacillate on at all, has a lot of weight. And when people try the power game with you, ultimately I think what they realize is that your way of being beyond, your way of excelling, your way of being exceptional is quiet, but it's really, in comparison to most, it's very impressive. Your ability being this, put your head down, horns first, and just go for it. And anyone who tries to tangle with you in any way, whether they're competing for a partner with you, a job, whether this is a co-worker who thought they could take you on, in some cases it's a romantic partner who really wants control, and aside from that, they really like you. Here you show them just by being who you are that when it's time for you to put your head down and do the thing, Taurus does the thing. And when Taurus does the thing, people get left behind. A lot of competitors at this time will feel left behind. They may take it personally. They have time to catch up, again, because you don't even know you're running a race. You're literally just doing your own thing, being motivated, being attracted or repelled, running towards things, running away from things. There is really nobody else in that pen with you. But the way people like to compete from outside the pen, okay, well then join the rodeo if you really want to do that, but nobody really wants to do that. They want to compete from somewhere far, far away where they can say, look how much better I am at doing this than the bull. When the bull's asleep. When the bull's asleep. So, what you shouldn't do with this grand water trine. What you shouldn't do is feign confusion. What you shouldn't do is ignore your intuition. What you shouldn't do is pretend that you don't want things that you want. If you cringed earlier, excuse me, when I said, if you want to get married, say something. If you want some affirmation, say something. Perhaps there were those of you who thought, that's not the Taurus way. I'm not asking for that. I say it in the spirit of cutting through the confusion. Grand water trine, Venus moves into, Venus is in Scorpio, and we have Mercury later moving into Scorpio as well. You want to be sure. You don't want to be here. As more and more moves into Scorpio, you don't want to be unsure or confused. It will cause so much pain. So yes, you may have to work against your general stubbornness here. It may be very difficult for you to, in essence, reach your hand out and ask for something. I get it. It's very uncomfortable, but you're only asking because it's so very necessary to move into week 3 and 4 not feeling like this. Whatever you need to ask, whatever you need to say, whatever you need to find out that keeps you from having sleepless, confused nights where you're trying to piece together something that doesn't make sense. From now until the 3rd week of October is your chance to be very forthcoming, very honest, direct, ask the questions, find out the answers, take no prisoners. Now, one of the things that this will reveal to you is how you have hidden stubbornness that works against you, very much so. But you don't really ever get a look at it or how it hurts you, so it's like it doesn't exist. But when you want these answers and your natural tendencies keep you from asking the questions, you'll start to realize how deep that knife is that you use on yourself. All right, and then we have the sun. So the thing about asking what you want, that grand trine, it creates an energy around you of ask for it, believe in it. You'll receive it when you receive it. For now, just believe in it and go about your way. Like I said, that Page of Pentacles is telling you this is going to be slow. But you want whatever it is, whomever it is, to be slow. You want them to be completely short. You yourself are slow, okay? So you understand the merits of that. The last 2 weeks of October are filled with moments of great satisfaction where you see your prayers being answered. You see your wishes being granted. You see the things that you've been thinking about coming to you and showing up in your reality in this way or that way. The distinguishing factor here, the most important thing, right? The distinction between what it can be at the end of October and what this is. Okay? What it can be is something. Okay, so the distinguishing factor, I lost my train of thought. The distinguishing factor here is how you behave from now until that third week of October. Do you behave like someone who already knows they put their order in and is just waiting for it to show up at their door? Or do you spend the next 2.5 weeks wondering if everything is going to be okay, wondering if you're good enough, wondering if that person is going to get back to you, wondering if this is what your life is like now? When you could, Grand Water Trine says there is more than one solution to a problem. There is more than one person out there who will love you. There is more than one way to ask for what you want, but ask. Grand Water Trine says, get out of your own way, get out of your head, stop worrying about how proud you are, stop worrying about how this makes you look, be upfront. Whether you're with someone, not with someone, married to somebody, gonna get married to somebody, in a situationship, whatever it is, you tell them what you want. Now, if you're not with anybody right now, I wouldn't advise this as a time to hook up. I wouldn't advise this as a time to find somebody new, because you are in a stage right now where you want confirmations, you want deepening of existing relationships. So the worry is that if you meet somebody right now, that you will superimpose what you want onto them, and you'll see an outline of them shaped like what you want, but not because they really are that, but just because that's what that's what you're looking for. So you can superimpose that on anyone. Very different from asking for something and waiting and getting it, right? And knowing that the thing that shows up, you don't need to impose your views or wants on it. It comes to you as a compliment, not necessarily as what you asked for, but as a compliment to who you are. So if you are thinking of starting something new, if it feels like you have to make way more of an effort than the other person is making, they're not for you. That situation will continue to create a lot of hassle in your life into the fall, into the winter, even into next spring, where you feel unwanted, unloved, ignored, neglected. And if you have any sort of neglect or trauma in your past, that could very easily trigger something that then you end up nursing through the fall and the winter. And we know when we're nursing emotional wounds in the winter, we end up doing things like overeating, we sleep too much, we don't move around enough, and those are very typically, Taurus's pitfalls. So we need to be really careful just in terms of who we let emotionally get close to us right now. And it's also why it's so important to be really honest with people that we're already emotionally close to about what we want, because this is all in the name of feeling safe. We would like to feel safe. Now, on top of that, as an earth sign, we need to talk about Pluto being in Capricorn for the little while that it is still there, and the transits that it creates. We have very clearly in mid-October an opportunity to exert our charm, our power, our beauty, our will on someone, on a situation, and it can get misunderstood because Pluto's just doing that. It can get misunderstood, it can get misconstrued, you can come off looking like an aggressor, God forbid. You can make a mess of your reputation. So one of the reasons why it's not advisable, to pursue anyone necessarily right now is because if there's any sort of power imbalance between the two of you, especially if this is a coworker, then it can create very messy situations. Anything like that can create a lot of mess, but it's also what's attracted to each other right now. It's this imbalance of power that's attracted to each other because it's desperately trying to find balance. That's Libra season. All right. Now, these power dynamics, when they go the wrong way, usually it is you that suffers, because you are usually the person in the dynamic that has more power, whether you know it or not. So that's another thing here. We want to own that. We want to come into a space and naturally, that gravity that you have as a person, over the course of October, you have opportunity after opportunity to really view how much of a say you have over people, and how people really do listen to you, and how you should be using your voice more passionately, more often, and perhaps a little more spicy than you are right now. And I know, it doesn't really suit your chilled nature to get too into stuff or to get too sharp, but I think there are things that need to be fixed. And there have been many gentle attempts, and this is still a gentle attempt. The truth is still a gentle attempt. It may not be the most gentle coming from a Taurus, but it's still relatively sweet. So in your sweetest, softest, direct way that you can, tell the truth to the people around you about what you need, because you are, putting your card into a limitless ATM right now. This energy will give you, it's the Ace of Cups is the first card. It will give you back whatever you want, that you are only asking for because you've put it in. That's another reason you should be so secure in asking and believing and receiving, because anything that you're asking for, just by the nature of who you are as a person, is something that you've already given that person, is something that you've already given that job, or that boss, or that business, or that friend, or that lover, that spouse. You're not asking for something that you haven't in fact given tenfold. And it is purely for that reason, simply because you do give so much, that you should spend the next 2 weeks really chill and relaxed about you having that, come back, and how that reciprocity is going to work exactly. You don't have to worry about that. But find out whatever you need to find out, say what you need to say to whomever you need to say it to, so you can ask with clarity of mind for what you want. It's no good to ask for stuff if you don't really know what's going on, right? So whatever you're confused about, whatever you need clarification about, these first 2 weeks are your ticket where these floodgates of love are open to get the truth out of people. Once you have everything you need, then go about asking, praying, believing, receiving, and chill. Wait until that last week of October and see how things start to line up. The only thing that you can't do, look at this, and Mars in Cancer, baby, it wants you to do this so bad. Mars in Cancer, and then your fixed energy, it wants this so bad. It wants to do this the whole entire time, the entire month. There's an element within you that's like, fuck the questions, fuck the commitment, fuck the deepening of the bond. I want to cling to what I know. This person is staying with me no matter what. I don't want the truth. I don't want to know what happened. This is my thing. I like it like this. I'm going to keep it like this. It's not staying like that. It's not staying like that. So you can get really upset about it. You can get very upset, or you can immediately, before anything even happens, you're finding solutions. You're ahead of the problem. You're ahead of the problem. You're finding solutions to things that haven't happened yet. You're anticipating your own emotional needs. It's a beautiful thing. It's very level-headed. It's very powerful. Let's look at these cards so we can talk about that power and how it really triggers people. I think it would do you good to look at these cards as we speak about that, because it can be such an issue. But before we go, let's do the cross watchers. So if you're a cross watcher and you have feelings for a Taurus, you wish a Taurus would text you back or call you, you're in love with a Taurus, or you're having problems with a Taurus, they're your spouse, your significant other, etc. And you're wondering, what's going on with them and how do I get through to them? Well, Taurus is going to start moving the way that they feel. They do oftentimes keep themselves from moving too much in the way that they feel because they don't want to get played, and they feel so deeply that if they actually started moving that way, maybe they would come off like a clown, and they never want to be that. But now that they start moving the way that they feel, if you make them feel at all stupid about it, they're going to clam right up. Okay, so if you want this person to express themselves, any little hint you get at how they really feel, just take it for what it is. Don't make a big deal out of it. The way that I can describe this is like, my son speaks 3 languages, alhamdulillah, but when he was learning them, he was learning them all at the same time, so he spoke late. So everyone thought he spoke late because of the languages, but no, it was me. It was because when he was like normal, when you start speaking age, he said that I said giraffe, and he said giraffe. And I screamed. And I jumped up, and I started going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. He said a word. He didn't say another word for like 6 months. Of course, when he started talking, he was talking in complete sentences in 3 languages, alhamdulillah. But like, for a second, it was like, why did I make such a big deal out of fucking giraffe? Because now the kid won't speak. And I could tell that he was visibly startled by what I was doing. And I was like, oh, this is not going the right way. So in the same way, when Taurus opens up to you, when they ask you something, don't do this like, oh, wow, wow. Because if you wah around them, they're going to turn around and be like, okay, I knew this was a mistake. They're doing this against their better judgment. Whatever they want to share with you, whatever they tell you, whatever they think that they need right now, the reason they're coming to you and sharing it with you is because they have to. It's coming out of them. They don't want to. So the more you make them feel at home about it and comfortable, like no big deal, we're taking it, don't take it casual, but don't make a big deal. This is my Vedic Taurus coming out. Don't make it casual. Don't be like, nah, that's how you feel. That's what you need. No. But don't also like, oh my God, giraffe. Oh my God. No. Somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle is like, wow, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Yes, I do feel this way about you. Or whatever questions they have, answer them. Whatever intimacy they want from you, this is the time to get them where you have them where you want them. And if you're in a situation where that person won't speak to you, they're not getting back to you, this is a time, Venus and Scorpio, grand water trine, that if you leave them alone, they'll come to their senses. If they don't reach out to you during this time, don't waste your time and move on. If they're going to come back around, they're going to come, and this goes for everyone, okay? If they're going to come back around because their name is written next to yours, then they're going to come back around. You not worrying about it is going to make it happen faster. So go live your life, do what you got to do. This is probably going to piss the Tauruses off, but go live your life, do what you got to do, because if they're not on your timeline, they're not on your timeline. They will get on your timeline when they want to be on your timeline. Remember that, okay? Love you. Let's look at these cards. There's links below for the extended on Patreon, on Vimeo as a PayPal direct link, and there's a link for personal readings that look like this. Hi Taurus, welcome to your preview of the extended. So what we're going to talk about in extended has to do with money and career. And basically the question we're tackling, and we'll shuffle through as we talk about it, is a decision that you have to make when you have an overabundance of really lucky, productive energy. How do you want to spend it? Because what Venus and Scorpio does for you is, as it does this beneficial dance with Saturn and Pisces, it creates, and with Mars and Cancer, again, we're talking about that grand water trine, it creates enormous professional success for you. Now that success can be yours, or it can be tied to whomever you're working for, because it's your work that's going to bring that success, inshallah. So if that means that you will be adding to the success of a job you hate, a person you deeply dislike, an organization that you do not feel represents you, do not feel represents your morals, ethics, etc., then you have to think long and hard about where you want to take your success. And it's important that you understand that your success comes with you. So if lately someone in a position of authority financial authority has been asserting themselves in a strange sort of way where they're trying to make you feel like they're doing you a favor. They saved you. They brought you in. Could be a friend, but it's someone who's taking either the moral high ground or has the financial high ground. And I think that it's a great time to remind you that they are completely mistaken and that it's actually the reverse. Your luck comes with you. And whomever you choose to grace with your presence, your words, your energy, your love, benefits from that luck. Your luck is fixed to you. And so ultimately the conversation that needs to be had here is, whom do you want to attach that luck to that is so fixed to you that therefore you would have to get attached to that thing or person for your luck to be of benefit to them? And then the larger question that begs is that right? And does that particular dynamic define most of your relationships? Is that push of the horns that your friends are privy to and graced by and grateful for and lucky to have, is that push more than just motivation? Is that push more than love? Is that push you actually exerting not just your will, not just your advice, not just your love, but also some of your luck? It's a lot to think about. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about mental health and physical wellness, and the direction we're taking there has to do with being set off, and we're talking about temper. So that's coming up in the extended. All the links for how to access the extended, whether it's Vimeo or Patreon or a direct PayPal link, those links are below. And there's also a link for private readings. We're also having an event, an online event in October, and I will put the relevant information below if you would like to get tickets. Okay? I'll see you in a minute.